Good evening, dear viewers and subscribers. Welcome to Debed Our Teleturuan. I am Jode Mardi Oge of Marciano del Rosario Memorial National High School, your teacher presenter this evening. For tonight's topic, I'm going to discuss the parts of microscope and how to focus specimen under scanner, low power objective, and high power objective. At the end of the lesson, you are expected to be able to identify parts of the microscope and their function, and determine the process on how to focus specimen on scanner, low power objective, and high power objective. It is under the most essential learning competencies: identify parts of the microscope and their functions, and focus specimen using compound microscope. Before we start, I have here some pictures. Can you guess what are in the pictures? Let's start with this one. What do you think is this one? This is an ant. How about this one? This is coronavirus. This one. This is a dust mite. How about this one? This is hair strand. We all know that these things and organisms are too small to see. How did they get these images? Right. They use microscope, but not this type of microscope. This is a compound microscope. We can enlarge the image of objects in this type of microscope, but not up to that magnification. To see objects up to those magnification, we need to use much bigger equipment, much bigger microscope. Like these. These are electron microscopes. They are much bigger compared to compound microscope, but they magnified up to 10 million times. But before we go to electron microscope, we need to study the basic. Let's start studying a small one, a compound microscope. Let's study its parts and functions and how to focus specimen under this type of microscope. Compound microscope. What are the parts of a compound microscope? The three basic structural components of compound microscope are the head, base, and arm. Head or body. Head or body houses the optical parts in the upper part of microscope. Arm. Arm connects to the base and support the microscope head. It is also used to carry the microscope. Base. Base of the microscope support the microscope and houses the light source. Let's now proceed to optical components of the microscope. Let's start with the eyepiece. Eyepiece or ocular is what you look through at the top of microscope. Typically, standard eyepieces have magnifying power of 10 times. Optional eyepieces of varying powers are available, typically from 5 times to 30 times. Another optical components of the compound microscope is the body tube. The body tube is a hollow tube through which light travels from objective to the eyepiece. Objective lenses. Objective lenses are the primary optical lenses on microscope. They range from 4 times to 100 times and typically include 3, 4, or 5 on lens on most microscopes. Revolving nosepiece. Nosepiece houses the objectives. The objectives are exposed and are mounted on a rotating turret so that different objectives can be conveniently selected. Standard objectives include 4 times, 10 times, 40 times, and 100 times, although different power objectives are available. Coarse focus knob. The coarse focus knob located on the arm of the microscope moves the stage up and down to bring the specimen into focus. The gearing mechanism of the adjustment produces a large vertical movement of the stage with only partial revolution of knob. Fine focus knob. Fine focus knob is used to bring the specimen into sharp focus under low power, and it's used for all focusing when used high power lenses. Stage. Stage is where the specimen to be viewed is placed. A mechanical stage is used when working at higher magnifications, where delicate movements of the specimen slides are required. Diaphragm. Diaphragm controls the amount of light reaching the specimen. It is located above the condenser and below the stage. Light source. The light source in your microscope is a lamp that you turn on and off using a switch. or a mirror to reflect sunlight to the specimen. Those are the parts of a compound microscope. Now, let's summarize it. Parts of the microscope can be divided into two groups: structural components and optical components. Under structural components are head or body, arm, and base, while the optical components are eyepiece, body tube, objective lenses, revolving nosepiece, force focus knob, fine focus knob, stage, diaphragm, and light source. Now let's check if you really understand the lesson. Identify the parts of microscope being described. It is used to bring the specimen into sharp focus under low power and is used for all focusing when using high power lenses. Right, this is fine focus knob. Next, these are the primary optical lenses on microscope. They range from 4 times to 100 times and typically include 3, 4, or 5 on lens on most microscopes. Correct, these are objective lenses. How about this one? It connects to the base and supports the microscope head. It's also used to carry the microscope. You got it, it is the arm. There you have it. We're about to have a short break for a few reminders from the studio. Please stay tuned for the discussion on how to focus specimen under compound microscope.